there's some really good ones too, starting with Nkenglefac v. Garland, which this is an attorney's fees case. So like, how can I not talk about that? Like a nonprofit in Nkenglefac v. Garland, and the nonprofit is Immigration Services and Legal Advocacy, gets $55,000 for representing Mr. Nkenglefac, an asylum seeker, before the Fifth Circuit of all circuits. I mean, just very rare that this is going to happen. And when this case came back, because I did this published decision many months ago in the case in chief, I could not believe that I had to say Mr. Nkenglefac's name again, because if you read it, it is a very hard name. An underappreciated thing of doing my podcast, I think, is the difficulty of saying some of these names. More often than people might realize, I literally look up the oral argument to see how the attorney is saying the name, because like some of these names, nothing wrong with the names, but they're from cultures that I'm not always familiar. And so when Mr. Nkenglefac came back, I couldn't believe it. Like, it's hard enough to say it the first time. But this case is interesting because what happened below is his attorneys, they got the Fifth Circuit to overturn an adverse credibility finding, which is hard enough to do. And the reason was apparently that the immigration judge relied upon a credible fear interview, which is not a transcript anyway, but relied upon a credible fear interview transcript that totally happened, but no one ever put it into the record. It wasn't in the record, and the immigration judge was relying on it, and it is just black letter law that you have to rely on evidence that's in the record. So even if, to be honest, if I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to the immigration judge, like, this transcript existed, but the IJ relied on it, and it wasn't in the record at all. And to the Fifth Circuit, that's black letter law, need to overturn, cannot rely on something not in the record to make an adverse credibility finding. And it is so wrong that oil wasn't substantially justified in defending it, and the DOJ has got to spend $55,000. I mean, not to be glib, but like the IJ was so wrong that the IJ cost DOJ 55 grand. It's kind of amusing. I mean, and it's also oil for deciding to defend the decision before the circuit rather than send it back, but like, it's kind of amusing. I mean, that's taxpayer money anyway.
Why would oil
it goes to. I'm sorry, what?
Why did oil even? I mean, usually, because when I deal with oil, or at least my clients do, it's like for these mandamus cases. And from what I usually hire out the lawyer to file a lawsuit, instead of oil officers, I guess the lawyers are pretty reasonable. You talk with them, they want to help you and stuff like that. So I hear something like that. It's like, why would they? Wiser thoughts wouldn't prevail to not pursue that kind of claim.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, in some cases, I'd say that it wasn't even that obvious to oil during the briefing because maybe petitioner's counsel wasn't so good, but that's definitely not the case here because this is a very well-respected attorney and nonprofit, so that wasn't the issue. I don't know, there's oil has 300 attorneys or something, and I believe that they're all very smart and good professionals. I interned there for 6 months during law school. But like also their discretion is different based on administrations. And at the end of the day, they are supposed to defend the agency decision. So like the BIA said it was okay. Their job is to defend the BIA. So I don't know how it happened. I think all this got litigated during the Trump administration. Who knows if it happens today? But look, this is good. Like, and who knows what the briefing was like? Maybe there was more, and the Fifth Circuit decided to just focus on one thing. You never know. But to have a decision like this, it then gives oil pause and grounds next time something like this comes around to be like, look, guys, we can't defend this. Here's the decision. Do it again. So if nothing else, I think it actually helps oil. So it gives them. I don't think people appreciate the goodwill and political liability, political in the bureaucratic sense, that goes into oil dealing with ICE and the BIA that they refer to as their clients. There are stakeholders at every step of the way. Oil has to have some meat to go back to the BIA and say, guys, we don't want to defend this.
One thing is, they hate having to give legal fees like this. It's the bane of DOJ's existence, even when they'll negotiate with people to settle and say don't go after fees and stuff like that. But it seems like they have unlimited supply of money. I'm always surprised when they don't want to pay out or they're fighting it or something like that. It looks like Congress just like constantly like, oh, $1 billion for here, $1 billion there. I'm like, don't they have unlimited money? Or I guess that particular agency doesn't get that money.
That is a question that I am simply not qualified to
Yeah.
answer.
Sounds good. What else do you have in store for us?
So again, well, congrats again to Immigration Services and Legal Advocacy. They got $200 an hour, by the way, is what the reasonable fee. But there's something I'll get to. I did hear your question. I'll get to the next one in a bit. But I find it amusing. They could have gotten an even larger increase in fees based on a finding that that immigration is a special factor, a special skill that warrants a higher fee. But the Fifth Circuit does not believe immigration is a special skill. So I find that offensive, but still they got their 55 grand. The next is
$200 for the lawyer is still like it's not enough. It should have been like at least 350, 400 or something.